Hello and welcome back to the Can't Stop Talking podcast. This podcast is coming in with a freaking bang today. It is going to be how to manifest six figures this year. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is exactly what I do when I want to get to my next level. This is exactly what I do when I'm feeling unmotivated, when I'm feeling tired, when I'm feeling like I don't want to do anything, right? I actually had to, use the things in this podcast episode to create this podcast. Something that I've shared with my clients is once January 1st hit, I actually feel the opposite as everyone else. And I feel like I've been absolutely crushing my goals before January 1st. I was working out every single day because I was going to Cabo. I was just working so hard on my business. And now that January 1st has hit and I'm like, everyone else is now trying to hit their goals, I'm like, where have y'all been? Like, I've been working. And so I actually just for the past 2 weeks slowed down just a little bit, which is so funny because slowing down to me is someone's speeding up. I've still been hitting my 10K steps on my walks and I've been working every single day. I've just been giving myself a little grace, but now it's time to, stop babying myself and get back to the person that I know I'm meant to be. And, this is what I do when I am hitting my next level. And the truth is, I say this is what I do when I'm hitting my next level. This is what I do every day. Like that's the secret to your next level. That's the secret to hitting and manifesting your six-figure year. It's actually waking up and being the person that six-figure business owner every single day. And the truth is that starts in your mind. And this is where most people go wrong. Most people go wrong because they think it's like the chicken or the egg, right? They're like, let me just take the action to create six figures. And that's amazing, right? You have to take action. I am the number one preacher of action. I'm not sitting on the couch eating potato chips, just manifesting and, meditating and the six figures are finding me. I wish, but no, I'm taking action. And it's funny because people don't realize that action is manifesting. You actually have to sit down and if you want to, say your affirmations, if you want to meditate, if you want to script, you have to sit down and you have to do it. And I think that's huge because everyone acts like, oh, yeah, I'm going to manifest. And then when it comes time to actually do it, no one's doing it. And so at the end of this episode, you are really, really going to have the tools of exactly how to transform your mind and become the identity of someone who's hitting your six-figure year. So what I mean by chicken or the egg, imagination trumps willpower. So what does that mean? That means you're never going to get farther than what you see in your mind. So if you don't actually believe that you can hit six figures and you don't see yourself and your self-identity as the person who is hitting six figures, it's not going to happen because most of the action we take comes from our subconscious mind, right? And so if you don't believe that you're capable of doing something, you're not going to do something. I gave this example, but like if you don't actually believe that going to the gym is going to help you lose weight, are you going to go to the gym? Hell no. You're not getting your butt to the gym if you don't think there's any result. And I tell my clients this all the time. Are you going to post on your stories if you don't think you're going to make a sale? No, absolutely not. You're not. Right. And so we actually have to attack your mind first. Your mind is like a virus. And once we can, handle the virus, we can, get rid of all the weeds in our brain and start growing a garden and start watering that garden every day. And that's what people forget. They forget that your mind is a garden. And even if you were to create the most incredible garden ever, if you stopped watering it, if you stopped doing the manifestations, if you stopped, actually meditating, like I said, doing your affirmation, doing whatever manifestation technique that feels right to you. If you stop doing that, all the plants are going to die. And so everything comes back down to thinking, feeling, and acting in according to what you want, right? So it's about embodying what you want and feeling first in order to bring it into your reality. So I was always waiting for an event to happen to feel a certain emotion when I could access the feelings the whole time. So for example, I was always waiting for 10K months, and then I would feel like a 10K month business owner. And then I would feel successful. Then everything would change, right? And I always get this question, but Sam, like, how do I feel abundant, right? When my bank account isn't where I want it to be, right? And they're like, don't I have to wait for the 10K months to then feel that way? No. Because like we said, your mind, right? It needs to go first and then the action's going to happen. So you're not going to take the action to become a 10K business owner or, hit six figures if you are feeling in lack because you don't actually believe it's going to happen. And so people are like, how do I feel abundant then, right? If the key is to feel abundant, how do I feel abundant when the clients aren't in my inbox asking for my services? How do I feel abundant when my engagement is going down, right? How do I feel abundant when nothing in my reality is showing that it's working? And the answer is actually the chicken or the egg, right? The answer is you can actually feel the feelings. Manifesting is about feeling, right? And so you can feel the feelings without having the event. That's the most incredible part about being a human, right? And so how do I feel abundant, right? Simple. You feel the emotions of abundance. If I were to give you I almost said 6,000, you guys. If I were to give you six figures, if I was to give you $100,000, right? I came to your house. I said, you have to do these things. You have to post every day. You have to show up on your stories. You have to nurture your clients. That's it. If you do that every week, 5 times a week, I will give you this check for $100,000. How the hell would you feel right now? You would feel absolutely incredible. Would you be able to feel what it feels like for me to give you that check? Take 10 seconds. Feel the feelings of $100,000 hitting your bank account. You open your phone. You can close your eyes if you're not driving. You open your phone. You go to your banking app and you see direct deposit $100,000 in your name. You smell the air. It smells so crisp. You see with your eyes 1 0 0 0 0 0. You hear your thoughts and you hear the birds chirping outside. You call your mom and you say, I did it. I finally hit 6 figures in my business. You feel your hands grasping your phone. You rub your thumber. You run your thumb over the number. And you can't believe that you actually did it. And it all happened from listening to one podcast by Samantha Aaron Coaching. Oh, you can come out of the meditation. I'm so sorry, you guys. Today I can't take myself seriously. I can't speak when it's Friday. And I just said thumb and number at the same time. But regardless of me messing up that little meditation, how did that feel, right? How did that feel? And I also want you guys to see that I'm not stopping this podcast and restarting it. Like, I am going for it. You can make 6 figures, making as many mistakes as you want and owning those mistakes because we're all humans. But that's not getting my point across. So back to what we were saying. That was just a little bit of an excerpt. Guys, I literally can't talk to you. I don't know what to tell you. So we feel the emotions of abundance, right? So like I said, thoughts, feelings create vibrations. And as humans, we think that we're chasing money. But in reality, we are chasing the feelings that money brings us because feelings are what actually attracts and manifests in what we want. So many people are backwards. They think I'll make money and then I'll feel happy or abundant or fulfilled. And then they make the money and they feel the same way, right? Or chances are, like I said, they're not going to be making the money if they can't feel those feelings right now. So the truth is, we attract money by feeling those feelings now, and then the money arrives. We are chasing the feelings of abundance. So how do we manifest abundance over and over again? Simple. We feel the emotions of already being abundant over and over again. We put ourselves in a felt experience of it's already here on repeat. We make it our identity. That is the key, making it our identity. You need to actually physically change the way that you see yourself. The way that I like to change the way I see myself is I say, I am affirmations. I am successful. I am, incredible. I am wealthy. Everyone loves to pay me. My engagement is through the roof. My Instagram is blowing up. I am a six-figure business owner. I get everything I want. I'm a master manifester. Everything comes to me. Money is in love with me. Me and money have a relationship. It's the best relationship, right? I make thousands of dollars a day, and I repeat that, right? You can just sit there for 5 minutes a day, set a timer, and that's great. Like that, it doesn't have to be this long drawn out, like a hour of your day. Like, no, I just want you to take an exercise, whether that be scripting, whether that be affirmations, whether that be, tapping, whatever it is. And I just want you to commit to that for 90 days. 90, right? And like I said, where most people go wrong is they just don't do that. You're going to listen to this podcast and you're going to say, yes, Sam, I'm going to do that. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you'd rather do anything else. You'd rather scroll on your phone. But I'm telling you, if you start committing to this, you are going to see that happen in your reality. And what happens to me is when I fall off of, doing this in my daily life, just like I said with watering, that's when the weeds grow, right? And so that's why I didn't want to do this podcast today, because I wasn't seeing it as an easy activity. I was seeing this podcast as a chore instead of saying like, "Oh my gosh, I get to do this. I get to talk to my friends. People get to listen to my voice." Like, it's crazy that people are actually listening to this. Like, once I got into that gratitude of like, this is easy. I love doing this. This is my why. Then everything changed. And then once I saw myself as a podcaster, once I saw myself as someone changing someone's lives, once I saw myself as this podcast episode alone could be the reason that someone hits six figures or not, you can't keep me away from making this podcast. That is the difference in the mindset. One mindset is, ugh, I don't want to do that. That's so hard. That's so, time consuming, so boring. I'd rather just scroll on my phone. And that mindset makes you fall into depression. The other mindset of I get to do this, I'm changing effing lives. That one podcast could be the reason that someone signs up to be in my program. And then I absolutely take their business to the next level. And then I change their freaking life and their family's life and, their generational lives for years and years to come. Like, whoa, whoa, I feel like I'm on speed when I say that, And that's completely different mindsets at work. So, like I said, where people go wrong is consistency. They don't consistently shift into the version of themselves of that is abundant, right? And why is this? It's because they haven't changed the way they dominantly feel or see themselves. The way I was dominantly feeling, right? Um, Before I hit six figures and when I couldn't really figure it out, is I was feeling lack, sadness, anxiety. Like that's what became my identity. And so you guys all know that there was, a month, 2 years ago, it was 2 months, November and December, that I fell into seasonal depression. And I had just really bad anxiety, and I didn't know that it was undiagnosed ADHD, and I have gotten, Adderall for that, for my ADHD, but that wasn't actually until 6 months later. So first I physically fixed what was going on. I fixed the depression, the anxiety, and then I, got medicated 6 months later. I just like to be honest and, tell you guys because medication really did change my life. However, I changed my life first and then got the medication. But I've had clients who we've worked together and realized that they need medication too, and it's changed their lives. So I'm a big advocate for medication. And yeah, I just truly believe in it. So anyways, what I did first though to change myself, because I actually listened to a podcast yesterday, which is really interesting. It was Tony Robbins, and he was saying that, actually a lot of the depression medication, it works. I don't want to take any, words out of his mouth. So if you want that podcast, just message me. But basically he was saying it works, but what works better is when he actually changed before they take the medication or even during, he changed their identity to see themselves in a different way. And that's what actually, alleviated most of their, depression, which is insane to me. So I'm not a doctor. You guys know, talk to your doctor, consult, but this is something that's huge. So I am a big advocate of like changing the way you view yourself as well as taking that medication. So, like I was saying, I felt like I didn't want to wake up because I was in lack. I didn't feel like working on my business because I had no motivation. And all I wanted to do was drink with my friends because that gave me an escape 2 years ago, like truly. And I realized that I was attaching my past emotions to present events. I kept thinking that I was happier before, right? I was happier when my business was going well. I was happier when when I was motivated. I was happier, yada yada. And I kept thinking that when January 1st hits, everything's going to change, right? But the truth is that your brain is a filing cabinet of the past. So when you wake up and you think the same thoughts as yesterday, so if you're having anxiety, if you're depressed and you're thinking the same thoughts as yesterday and you recall the same memories, and from those memories, you remember all the same problems, right? So I am unhappy, I am unmotivated, I feel lack because I don't have engagement, because I lost a client, because I don't see any spots in my course. Then you wake up and you feel those emotions, right? Because you tied those emotions to past events in your life. Joe Dispenza says this perfectly. Now, how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So, the person's entire state of being when they start the day is in the past. So, how do we change this? The only way to change your identity is to constantly pick a new one, right? So going back, to hit six figures, you need to constantly wake up and see yourself as someone that people want to buy from. People want to binge your content. People want to hang off your every word. People want to listen to your podcast. They want to send you money. They're all over you like white on rice. They are in love with you. You are changing people's lives. You are everything that people need. You are the solution, right? Money is in love with you. Money wants to follow you. Money's always coming after you. Things are just easy for you. It's easy for you to make 10K months. It's easy for you to make six figures. In fact, that's not even a lot. That's small because you see yourself as the $1 million business owner. You keep going, right? And then what happens is everything else falls into place, right? And so you actually respond differently. You talk differently in your posts. You energetically show up differently. Your stories are more confident. The way that if someone doesn't respond when you send them the link, it's no sweat off your back. You know someone else is coming in. And so you're still going to, do the things that you need to do every single day to get more clients. You have become a different person. And this has now become your lifestyle. And you will water this feeling every single day. And one thing that I want you guys to know is do not constantly go back to the self-identity and then go to your, friends and say business is hard. Go to your coach and say business is horrible. I don't know what to do. I mean, obviously vent to your coach. That's what they're there for. But you have to start catching yourself when you are speaking the opposite into existence, right? Because negative thoughts spoken out loud are 70 times more powerful and more likely to happen. So to end this podcast, I hope you liked it. It was a lot of jumbled up stuff, but I think I think it was so powerful at the same time. I actually intend it was powerful. I actually know it was powerful. And so listen to this podcast episode again and again, but this is your year, right? And I want you to take everything you learned and not just say, yeah, that was a great podcast, but I want you to actually make a promise to yourself that you will do the things that I panned out for you. Wake up every day and decide that you are this new person and think the thoughts, feel the feelings, and act in according to this person. And I swear to you, you will become that person. It's the chicken or the egg. The imagination happens first. Your mental identity, the way you see yourself, is what needs to change first. And then everything falls in line after that. Woo! So if you're ready to hit your first six-figure year, or you're ready to sustain your six-figure year, or you're feeling burnt out and you know there's an easier way to hit six figures, then my freaking mastermind is for you. It's called Your Turn for a reason, because it is your turn to be the most sought after in the industry. I am creating a group of the most amazing women who are action takers, who are different than everyone else, who literally feel in their veins that business is good, but they want more. They know that there's a next level to their identity, to their manifesting, to their strategy, to helping people. Like, they are not creating a business because they just want to make money. They have fire under their ass. They want everything. They want to rule the world and leave a mark on this world. How many times am I going to say world? But truly change people's lives. And there's no going back from that. So I love you so much. You know, if this is you, message me, My Turn on Instagram. And I hope you have the most amazing, beautiful week ever. And if you like this podcast, as always, rate it, but message me more importantly. I want to hear from you guys. I love you guys. Let me know what you think. Mwah!